Eyewitness News. The Good Morning Show starts now.
Happening now on GMS, a toddler dies after being left in a hot car outside of Wendy's for hours in Georgia. We have the latest.
Plus, over 40 migrants found dead in an 18-wheeler in San Antonio. Just the latest victims in a tragic trend along the border. We'll have that story and more coming up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the Good Morning Show. I'm Lenitra Bennett.
I'm Rob Ducatola. I got plenty to talk about in the forecast. We've got activity in the tropics. We've got shower chances. We've got heat. We got a lot.
Okay, something other than just the word hot. Okay.
That's right. It is nice for a change, right? Yeah, I do think we have some change. We're going to get to all that. I'll do full forecast in just a couple of minutes. We'll spend plenty of time talking tropics today, too. But first, let's start off in Georgia, where 3 children are dead now following a horrific incident in Paulding County, Georgia, Friday night. That's just west of Atlanta.
A 40-year-old mother allegedly set her house on fire while trying to stab her 7 children to death. As Don Shipman reports, neighbors in her quiet neighborhood were shocked by the crime.
Ordinary family, I guess you'd say, whatever, but...
Tom Reykjavik's lives just around the corner from where it all happened Friday night.
They'd come up in the cul-de-sac and go over there. We'd see him time and time.
3 days later, his quiet neighborhood still swarming with police and state arson investigators.
Ms. Brister, if you'll stand, please.
While investigators sifted through evidence at the house, Darlene Brister appeared before a Paulding County court judge, showing no emotion as she answered to the charges of malice murder. The 40-year-old is accused of stabbing 2 of her kids and suspected of setting fire to her Woodwind Drive house, killing 3 of her children and badly injuring 2 more.
You know, I sit here and I'll read or listen to news, all this other stuff that happens around, whatever, and of course, if it happens away from you, you know, you think about it, you know, whatever, you may be concerned, etc., like that, but it doesn't hit you, I guess, whatever, but when this is that close. And
in total, 7 children were home with their mother Darlene Friday night when police received that 911 call about a domestic disturbance. Witnesses say that they could hear children screaming and saw 2 teens who said that they had just jumped from a back window to escape. Authorities tell CBS 46 by the time first responders got there, they found 2 children already dead, a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old, both with multiple stab wounds. Neighbors say that the family seemed close. They exchanged waves and hellos, went out for walks.
And you just try to figure that out, you know.
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Staying in Georgia now, a heartbreaking discovery in Columbus, Georgia, where a child is found dead in a vehicle outside a restaurant on Sunday. According to police, the 3-year-old was with his grandmother and several other kids out making stops all day. The family returned home around 5:30 p.m. and the grandmother, later realizing she hadn't seen that child for some time, the boy's uncle found him inside an SUV parked outside of Wendy's. Police haven't said if anyone will face charges. According to NSC Injury Facts, so far in 2022, there are 6 deaths reported like this, kids dying from being left in a hot car. On average, 38 children under the age of 15 die each year from heat stroke after being left in a vehicle. Nearly every state has experienced at least 1 death since 1998.
Covering Gaston County, a deadly home invasion and business break-ins. Just some of law enforcement, some of what they are handling in Gaston County. They've been responding to a lot of that recently. The sheriff's office says it's time for change after a recent crime spree. Law enforcement and community leaders sharing the same message at a news conference yesterday afternoon. Sheriff Morris Young says right now they're emphasizing the importance of the Lock It or Lose It campaign. They're encouraging everyone to lock your home and car doors at all times and keep your valuables out of sight.
Labor Day.
The sheriff says many of these crimes are committed by teenagers in the area. He says it's time to crack down on them as well as their parents.
When you see a child this young doing some of the extreme things at an early age. Some of them are going from 0 to 100, where they've never been in trouble, never had issues, and all of a sudden now they're running with other gang members, and they're running into somebody's house or running to their yard, stealing, either stealing their vehicle or breaking into the vehicle or breaking into the home.
He also tells WCTV guns are a big problem right now, as many people are leaving their doors unlocked, allowing thieves the opportunity to steal them and potentially use those guns for future robberies or break-ins.
In Florida, House Bill 5, which would ban abortions after 15 weeks, is set to go into effect on Friday. However, as Jacob Murphy reports, pro-choice activists are trying to stop that from happening.
Several groups, including the ACLU and Planned Parenthood, filed this lawsuit June 1st, trying to get a Leon County judge to file an injunction which would put a pause on this new law. The challengers argue the law violates the Florida Constitution, which includes a more robust right to privacy section compared to the American Constitution, a right that Florida voters have protected in past referendums. We've seen hours of testimony already in this hearing from witnesses, all doctors rehashing a debate about abortion we've seen time and time again. A pro-choice OBGYN arguing women can't always get an abortion sooner than 15 weeks.
Life factors that are affecting them don't just go away. Poverty doesn't just go away. Struggles with substance abuse doesn't just go away. Violence doesn't just go away.
Meanwhile, lawyers defending the state called two of their own doctors to the stand, both pro-life. One, an OBGYN based in Texas, pushed back on the idea that all abortions are safe.
And I've cared for many women in my clinical setting who've been injured emotionally by abortion. Abortions become substantially more difficult and dangerous after the 15th week of gestation.
What we didn't see much of Monday, any actual arguments relating to the constitutionality of this new law when it comes to the Florida Constitution, and a reminder that Dobbs' decision making headlines from last week from the U.S. Supreme Court not applicable here since we're talking about the Florida Constitution. The judge will hear closing arguments and may make his ruling this Thursday, the eve of when this law is supposed to go into effect this Friday, but this issue will likely make its way to the Florida Supreme Court before it's all said and done.
And in a WCTV Twitter poll, we asked if you agreed with that decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Out of 3,879 responses, 53% answered no, while 47% said yes, that you do agree with the decision. And of course, we'll continue to follow this story and on the national and state levels, both on air and online. You can always find complete coverage, including the latest developments as they happen, on our website. That's WCTV.tv.
Covering North Florida, almost 4 years ago, Hurricane Michael swept through the Panhandle, leaving parts of Panama City unrecognizable. The Grice family is one of countless families forced to live in temporary homes after theirs was destroyed. But as Katie Benty reports, with the help of a local organization, that's no longer the case.
The Grice family couldn't believe their eyes as they stepped through their front door.
Stepping back into it now, looking at everything, it still seems so surreal.
Shiny wood floors and freshly painted walls. It's far from the home they had to leave behind more than 3 years ago, after the Category 5 storm left it unrecognizable.
You go from having a home you can come home to having a home that you can't even live in anymore. And that on its own is devastating.
Christopher Grice was forced to find a temporary living situation for him and his 3 children as they worked to rebuild, but he was losing hope.
It seemed like every step of the way there was an obstacle.
That was until SBP Florida stepped in.
I stood right here and cried because I could not believe the amount of work they were offering.
Top to bottom in repairs.
Repairing the drywall and making sure that everything was complete, and then we also refinished the flooring. We also repaired the HVAC and then finished out the bathroom so they would have a working bathroom as well.
Working and ready to move in.
There's a lot of things you end up missing when you have to say goodbye to your home for so long. But Christopher says the best part about moving back in here is being able to give his kids a place to call home once again.
it was tough for us because we all had to stay in one tiny little room together, all three of us, for a little while, and that was probably the hardest thing.
But now the Grice kids will be back in their own rooms in the house they've always called home.
Make our hearts happy.
SBP Florida is a long-term disaster recovery organization dedicated to repairing homes damaged from storms like Hurricane Michael and Hurricane Sally. All right, 5:09 now. So good to see those people recovering from the hurricane. Hopefully, we don't have to think about anything like that happening anytime soon, Rob.
No, and even when we start talking about there's some activity out in the tropics, none of it expected to come anywhere near here anytime soon. So there are things we're watching, but there's nothing that's concerning us, tropically speaking, anytime soon. Now, our story for today is going to be about a little increase in humidity and a little increase in rain chances, and hopefully that means those temperatures don't get as high as they did yesterday. 94 the official high, so we keep with that really high run of temperatures for the month of June. I think these next several days, the final several days of the month, we're going to see those temperatures struggle a little bit, maybe having a tough time each day getting past 90 if those showers can get going early enough. Now, I don't see anything on the radar picture, not early this morning. There are a few showers way down to the south. A lot of that's fizzling out, but usually when we start to see some of that activity in the morning hours over the Gulf, that usually speaks well for some opportunities over land in the afternoon. There is still that boundary draped across our north and western spots, way off to the north and west, and as that tries to get a little closer, that may also help to increase our chances for showers over the next couple of days. It's not to say we're going to have nonstop rain for 4 days this week. We're not, but I do think those chances for our afternoon scattered showers are going to get higher and higher for the next few, and that should do a pretty good number on keeping those temperatures in check like they're supposed to. I see a 68 this morning in Blakely. We'll take that. Tallahassee, Perry 76 this morning. In Quincy we're at 70, in Thomasville 72, and in Valdosta it's 73 to get started. So most numbers in the 70s. Futurecast showing that by maybe later this afternoon, at least some areas getting some scattered showers. Now, today it feels like the best chances will be to the south and to the west. So maybe some coastal areas on the other side of Apalachicola and maybe out towards Jackson County, further west along I-10. That's where I think today's best opportunities for showers are. Doesn't mean we can't find some scattered showers in other spots. And I think over the next couple of days, not only are we going to find more showers, but maybe some of those more intense ones that bring some decent amounts of rain in a short period of time. So we'll be on the lookout for that as we get into the next couple of afternoons with a real increase in moisture. And when we get that increase in moisture, that's when it starts to feel the way it's going to feel outside. So maybe not as hot as it was last week, but I think it's going to get awfully humid. Today we'll put the rain chances around 50%. Tomorrow and beyond, I'm going to leave them around 60 or even 70%. So I'm expecting showers Wednesday and Thursday and beyond. I do think that means those top temperatures are going to struggle to get to 90 after today. We probably still climb into at least the lower 90s today, but those shower chances go up, and that should mean shorter durations of the really high heat.